What's good, soccer friends? Welcome to First Touch Daily, our daily World Cup show brought to you every day from our lovely Manhattan studios. I'm Susannah Fuller alongside David Gass and Matt Doyle. Guys, there is no World Cup games today. Womp womp. But that does not mean that we don't have plenty to talk about. In fact, when I arrived here at the studio this morning, I saw a Matt Doyle who was just still glowing and basking in the demise of England at the hands of Argentina. Are you still riding that high?
I am, and also I had a really good quesadilla. So there were a couple of things happening in my life. I've been consuming a lot of English media content from both before and after the game. One in particular I enjoyed was, I believe, TalkSport. A couple of their pundits debating whether Messi would even get into England's squad.
Wow.
No, they didn't.
Yes.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. Yeah. That one felt really good to watch back. And then, then there's the typical, I should say, that has been the highlight because it was Messi and because he plays in MLS. And so, of course, it's a diminished version of Messi. He can't possibly be good anymore. So watching that gave me a special kind of joy. But then there was just the regular joy from the aftermath of another English failure. And, surprise, surprise, it's Thomas Tuchel getting, most of the blame, which we agreed as well he probably deserves. But also, Thomas Tuchel, when he won the Champions League with Chelsea, they bunkered for the entire second half. And when he went to Bayern Munich, he turned them into a bunkering team and got fired because of that.
So we shouldn't be surprised that this is how it went down for England. Gus, do you have any, now that, you've had a few...
My afterglow?
Yeah, exactly. Like any thoughts or, sentiments that have changed since the result?
No, I think to Doyle's point, I think English fans and media are some of the hardest thing to deal with in soccer. And it's because they go through two extremes. They don't even mention the name of their opponent because they've already moved on to the next round, or they're woe is me, how sad are we?
Yeah.
And there's no in between to be like, you know what? I'm kind of cheering for you this time. Because you're being plucky and you're being fun.
Yeah.
It's literally when we face Spain, or does Messi deserve to be in our team? Or, oh, wow, we're never going to win. It's never coming home, blah, blah, blah. And it's I don't really enjoy either of those. So I'm enjoying the afterglow of it as well. I'm hopeful that it doesn't fall on Jude the way we sort of might think.
Yeah.
It should fall on him a little more than we actually kind of gave him credit for yesterday. He was invisible, and also he wound Messi up. He was the one. He was the one who poked the bear. Come on.
If you're not good enough in a World Cup semifinal to handle the fact that the other team's trying hard, then you're not good enough to go to a World Cup final.
Well, isn't he supposed to be the best player on the team? He and Harry Kane, neither of whom showed up. And we can't give them a pass for that.
Yeah, but he had 6 goals this tournament, and he carried them through Norway.
That's great.
Where was Harry Kane against Norway?
Jude Bellingham did great against Norway. Where was he against Argentina?
Yeah. I can understand some of that.
And, he should not get off, culpability from that one.
For sure.
But the issues, watching that game back and then going through some film of literally younger central midfielders in England's pipeline, I think England have a structural problem with the type of players they want to produce. Elliot Anderson's really good. He had a great tournament. Declan Rice, everybody knows he's a really good player. Then they have young guys coming up, the kid at Crystal Palace, the young kid at Spurs. Really good prospects. North-South. Not one from what I've watched in terms of the few games that I watched from England, the clips that I was going through last night, and then the data on all these. Not one of them is what I would consider to be a game organizer or a manager who wants to change the tempo and the geometry of the game. It is just not in their DNA, and I think it's what England values as a soccer society. And I'm eating it up. I'm really enjoying it.
And in fairness, Tuchel said this where he said, we're a Premier League team. I'm picking a squad to be a Premier League team. We're going to be direct, physical, and dangerous. And that's all of what you just said. I think the question in this would be, who puts a draft pick connected in the João Neves, Elliot Anderson trade that the two countries have to make? Because they both develop one type of soccer player. So there you go.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that.
There's a north-south Portuguese central midfielder.
Well, obviously I have to go crush the film now, David, to find one.
Show me Portimaense film right now that disproves that. No, it's been fun, and now I think we can all collectively turn on Argentina. And now we can all move on to rooting for Spain, because this is the big ghosts that we go through. But I think I talked to a lot of people after the game yesterday, and people reached out about the show and stuff. And I think it was a World Cup event. Like, the game 2 days ago was fun, and Spain was dominant, and it's like an all-time win for them.
Yeah.
Yesterday was the World Cup drama, and it was the banner after the game and the booing of the anthems and the fans marching in, and it was the stories and the 1998 and 1986 and 1966. And then I think the way the game played out was like, this is a World Cup story.
Yeah.
And it wasn't for the quality of soccer maybe the game will remember, but I think it'll be the 2026 game a lot of people think back on.
Just looking at the game, like you were right, is an event. And it makes me think about what we've seen over the past 3 years since Messi came here to the U.S. And I just kept thinking, if England had Reed Baker Whiting, who shut Messi down in the CONCACAF Champions Cup semifinals, I mean, would they have stood a better chance closing this game out?
I felt the Star Wars meme happen. I felt the trap coming, and I didn't know where he was going to land. Thought it was going to be a John Stones, the Columbus Crew bit.
Why can't they produce players like Daniel Lovitz? Yeah. That's my big question.
Oh, man. Wow. Love that. It was a deep cut. I know I felt like a generational win for Argentina. I mean, it was just it was such a, and the way that they did it, which they have done, the comeback from behind victories throughout the entire tournament. I want to give a shout out to Katie, who dropped this in our group chat. Argentina's winners throughout this tournament: against Cape Verde, 111th minute; against Egypt, 92nd minute; Switzerland, 112th minute; England, 92nd minute. They haven't led after 90 minutes of any of the knockout rounds. Like, that is like, this is a team that's just like, all right, like, here we go.
They're
battle
elastic.
tested. It's crazy.
It is wild, and it's why we can't quantify it. We keep saying over and over.
I know.
X-Dog, baby.
Yeah, we did a whole, like, England will win for all these reasons, and then we made predictions, and we both picked Argentina to win.
Yeah.
And we didn't know why, and then it happened. And you
it's
still
like,
kind of
why.
don't know why. And I think it's fair. Listen, if I was an England fan, I would be upset with Tuchel, because I think it's fair to say we gave up, we made mistakes.
Yeah.
And, like, I heard some conversation where, maybe Tuchel recognized, I think Tuchel said, like, we couldn't make offensive substitutions like a Rashford and a Saka because we couldn't get the ball. And it's like, you are supposed to be the leader, and that's a follower thing to say. My players are going in that direction. How can I help them entrench there? Rather than saying they're going the wrong way, how do I lead them back in the other direction? And it's like a wild thing to say out loud as a manager who's won a Champions League and has been hired to be the international manager. The one thing I will say, though, is someone, was talking about how fortunate Tuchel got that he won a COVID Champions League, because that's sort of his, like, one shining achievement above. I don't remember this. I probably should have done this research. Fabio Capello, when he got hired to be England manager, was he one of the 5 best managers in the world at that time?
He was considered, a genius. Yeah.
Okay. Because this, to me, the non-English managers that I've experienced since Capello, they don't feel like the best in the world. And it's like, okay, no foreign managers ever won a World Cup. So the assumption is there's some cultural piece to it. Also, the teams that win World Cups are all elite countries, and there's a soccer mind in there that can coach your team. If not, is Thomas Tuchel one of the 5 best managers in the world?
No.
So if you're going to go outside the party, you go to Carlo Ancelotti, you go to Jurgen Klopp, you go to Pep Guardiola. And that's the part that I find odd is it's not that they didn't
None of those coaches would have taken the job 2 years ago.
Maybe, but so then do you not have an English manager?
They don't.
Manager who just does what Tuchel did? His name's Gareth Southgate.
Right. But England has not produced a top manager in decades.
Yeah.
There's never been an English manager who's won the Premier League.
Now, Scaloni and De La Fuente combined have managed 11 first-team professional soccer games. So international, I think part of this conversation is, and Gareth Southgate was the same, right? He was a U23 manager, becomes interim, takes over. So I think there's a bigger conversation of what works in the international game. It's one we talked about a lot in the Soccer Wise special we did of, I think culture building is first for an international manager. I do think there is weight that comes from some of these managers when they give you the confidence that you feel bulletproof, because if Pep says it, then it's true. And I think that can work at the international level at a really high level. And that's why I thought Carlo Ancelotti would work for Brazil. And then there's also periodization of, you get 4 years. How do you build something slowly over time when players are coming in and out and in different form? And how do you handle all of it? But it's not club management. It is different. And I think a lot of people will take that away from De La Fuente and Scaloni facing off in a final. The question is, without having experience, how do you find those guys? Like, how do you find the right one? It's why I don't actually hate that Diego Forlan and Rafa Marquez are getting these jobs, because who the hell knows? Right. So you might as well pick legends who have been there before and who carry respect.
So did you say Pep?
I said Pep for
you
England.
Said Pep
Yeah.
For England? I mean, which does make sense.
Would you take that job if you were Pep?
I don't know.
I think if you're someone who's like Pep, what do you have left to do? And you want to do something that's never been done before.
The national team thing makes sense for Pep, but I just don't know if England is that project. I don't know.
I would assume if you're Pep, you watch these games and they are a penalty kick away from winning a thing.
Yeah.
And if you believe you're good at what you do, you have to believe you're good enough to get it over the line. And if you're the first one to do it in 60 plus years for the nation that invented the game and is the heart of the game and all this stuff.
Whatever. Pep's coming to the U.S.
If England, Germany...
League One? He couldn't hang in League One. Give him the Cosmos job.
That's right.
If England, Germany, and Italy all offer Pep the job, which one does he take?
Well, Germany can't because Klopp.
Did Klopp officially take it?
It sounds like it's very close to being over the finish line.
Then it's between.
I mean, you're asking me or you're asking Pep? Me thinking of, listen, I'd rather live in Italy than England. I would work as a janitor for the Italian FA before I coach the English national team and just crush pasta.
No,
so
well,
you're
to
asking
your point
me.
though, Gass, about the English managers, like, do they, because of this, do they now try to find an English manager? Like, do they look at an Eddie Howe? Do they look at, who?
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah. And I don't think that's wrong.
Yeah.
Or, and this is part of probably the way these things should run, which is like the picture that's going around viral right now is Scaloni being in the coaching course with De La Fuente.
Yeah.
You should have people in your system that you believe could be a national team coach. And part of the job, I think, for an FA, especially one that sits in England where they don't control the league. Mm-hmm. And so they don't control fully how players get developed. Because Man City's going to do what Man City's going to do. Coaching development should be part of what they focus on. Mm. And they can't get Chelsea to hire an English manager, but you can have them be coaching coordinators, right? You can keep them employed in ways where they start to move up your system. Someone in the chat said there is a top British manager. It's Emma Hayes. I don't think that's wrong.
That's a really good shout.
Serena Wegman should be someone if she was interested. And we've seen Phil Neville go in the other direction. I think that's someone who, if they're interested, again, has built cultures, knows how to protect players. I don't think Emma Hayes, if you listen to Emma's very passionate about what she's building around U.S. soccer, take away the team of a way for women to be coached and medically trained that is different from just copying a men's playbook. I don't think her interest is to then go and do this. But she was on TV covering the World Cup at ITV the entire time. So maybe there is an idea afterwards that she could. But I think that's an interesting point. And if I was the FA, if I win the World Cup next summer with Serena Wigman, I would ask her if she's interested.
Yeah, why not? Before we move on, I just want to give a shout out to One Knox, who got a big win against Fort Wayne last night.
10 man.
In a
10 on 10.
That's true.
One Knox got a red card.
Yeah.
So 10 on 10.
Yeah.
What did we decide it was the fastest red card in North American?
From what I saw,
American soccer,
it was the fastest red card in North American soccer history, and it's
3
the
seconds
fastest
after
red
3
card
seconds,
in
people.
professional soccer history.
Oh.
3 seconds for this one. There was, I guess, one in an English amateur league 25, 30 years ago that was after 2 seconds.
Did you see what happened?
I did.
It's
I did.
incredible.
The one in England, from what I read, was not deserved. This one last night was very much
The one
deserved.
in England was
It's incredible.
the opening whistle was blown, and the center mid next to the whistle said, "F, that's loud," like cursed about the whistle, and the ref just showed a red card.
Savage move. Yeah, no, the one Knox red came literally immediately after kickoff,
Yeah.
and
That's why you press everywhere.
Exactly.
the whole
I
time.
know.
Make
And
them
the
feel you.
Fort Wayne
Yes.
midfielder just barreled into Dennis, and Dennis is the center forward for one Knox, and he kind of shoved him off, and they fell over, and then the guy kicked him.
Yeah.
Kicked him right in the gut. Can't do that.
Wemby style.
Can't do that. But yeah, no, it was a weird game. But yeah, they also won 2-1. So way to go, one Knox. Top of the table, one Knox. Great job, Coach
top of
Fuller.
the table.
Also, we went to the Gotham.
We went to
match.
the Queens City Classic.
It was unbelievable. So this was at Citi Field, and it was eerie scenes, you guys, because there is the Canadian wildfires are creating this thick level of smoke everywhere, and so it felt very apocalyptic, but it was also an incredible crowd. They broke a record for, I think it was the most attended women's sporting event in New York City's history. Over 40,000 people at Citi Field. Gotham won.
Roosevelt
1-0.
scored an absurd goal. She megged
goal.
a USMNT center back, or
It was
USWNT center back, and then chipped it to the far post.
It was
Yeah.
really fun, but
Yeah.
great times.
No, and I'm wondering, like, the sellout was huge. I think for Gotham moving venues, we know coming up to the new venue, which is across the street from Citi Field. That announcement happened about a week and a half ago. I think there was a bump. There's excitement. Red Bull Arena is not like fully accessible for everyone, so there's a new fan base. But there has to have been some World Cup bump.
Yeah.
The fact that 42,000 people went to a regular season game.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it'll be interesting over the next few weeks to see MLS kicks back off tonight. USL's been playing. What will those bumps be? And I've said it over and over and over again. The only world-class product in soccer in North America is the in-stadium atmosphere and experience. So I'm hopeful that a lot of the people, the 55 million people who are going to watch the World Cup final, some of them attempt to go and do that, because you're not going to sell the fact that the stakes of what you saw last night are going to be recreated in an MLS regular season game or an NWSL regular season game. And you're not going to sell the fact that the quality's there because France starts 27 international, world-class players. But I do think some of what you saw with Algeria fans dancing in Kansas City or whatever, I do think you experience some of that when you get in the building.
So I think the league overall has done a bad job of messaging the fact that the quality gap has actually shrunk between MLS and the top 5 leagues in the world. In fact, MLS is the 6th best league in the world in terms of the most minutes played at this World Cup. And that's not just in overall, it's also in the knockout rounds. More games, over half the games in this World Cup feature an MLS player. This is a story that the league should have been telling, and they weren't. The good news is that from everything I've heard, individual teams have crushed it in terms of hosting watch parties and getting more people. Just getting phone numbers and email addresses
Or be
from
associated
potential
with the
fans.
game.
Yeah.
If
and being
you want
like,
someone
hey,
in Nashville, when they think of soccer, to think of Nashville SC first, even if they're not the biggest fan or whatever.
Right.
So I am dubious about there being any viewership bump, because I think that has to be more centralized. But in terms of in-stadium atmosphere and butts and seats, I expect it to be a big summer. So
And a Ballon d'Or winner.
And a Ballon d'Or. Well, would he even get into England's squad, though? You have to ask.
Yeah.
Good question.
You have to wonder.
You do
is he
have
better than Bukayo Saka? Probably not. Probably not. Maybe better than Madueke.
Yeah.
But, by small margins.
Thurl's having a big day.
This much. All right, guys, as we said, no soccer today. But it's a good opportunity for us to kind of reflect on the tournament as a whole. And so at the start of this tournament, we were doing the 3 big things. Like each of us had like a big thing for the day. So this is kind of a more big picture. 3 big things, like big takeaways, your favorite moment on and off the pitch, a match, whatever you want it to be. I will kick us off because, as you can see, I am wearing my Norway kit that I didn't get to wear it, and so I really was like, well, I just want to wear this kit because it's so cool and iconic. But I think it sort of speaks to one of the things I loved most about this whole tournament were the fans and the international fans making the trip here and seeing them take over cities and just leaning into American culture. And on the flip side, Americans leaning into embracing all these different cultures. And obviously the love affair that America now has with one Erling Haaland is so justified because dude is so damn likable and funny and capricious and witty and also just a baller and a beast of a soccer player. And so it was just, I don't know, it kind of to your point, Doyle, like there were moments like that where I think people that didn't follow soccer saw what was going on and fell in love with that aspect of it. Yeah. And that's one of the things that you hope will draw people in to just taking in more and consuming more soccer in North America. And so I'm appreciative of fans like that we saw from Norway coming in and introducing us to the row and their aquavit and their just overall crazy good vibes. It was a joy to witness and watch, and I loved every second of that.
I was with a friend who was in Boston who went to some of the games in Boston, which was one that I was a little worried about because the stadium's so far away and like where are people going to stay, and was saying one of the things I said was, from an economic point of view, we still don't know what this World Cup looks like. We know FIFA made billions.
Right.
We don't know what markets made. We don't know like how much money was brought in, and there's a lot of money that it feels like host committees and stadiums maybe. And we think the 2031 Women's World Cup is coming here. And I think it's kind of wild to think that an organization that has been through this goes back to the table and is like, FIFA, we want to do this again. And this person, who is someone who's fairly skeptical most of the time, goes, I think the vibes are so high. And this coming out of Boston, the experience everyone had was so enjoyable this summer that there's no way you don't do it. Right. And I was like really shocked by that because I'm thinking about it from like a much more dollars and cents point of view of I paid $98 we did for a train ticket to get to a game. It worked because they shut the whole city down and everyone paid $100 to get there. Is that sustainable? And that was only done because there wasn't money coming back from FIFA and all the requirements FIFA has. And like, that's why this happened. And so to have this person be like, oh no, like it's every happening. Market wants to be a part of this is like, oh wow, this has been a success. And it's for that reason. And it's once again, the athletes and the fans saving the organization.
Yep.
But Scotland fans putting cones on statues and Rock Chalk Algeria and all that stuff. I just think that stuff is going to be the lasting experience, and everyone's going to want to do it again if they can.
Yeah, it was awesome. Doyle, what's your favorite thing?
This is the highest scoring World Cup since 1970.
Goals.
Yeah, 2.9
goals.
A little over 2.9 goals per game. And that's just, it makes it more fun for me. And that includes in the semifinals. Yesterday was an all-timer. It's one that we'll all remember. And, part of the reason is the goals. So I like that. But I like part of that is teams that bunkered, teams that played against the ball, tended to get punished badly in this one. There was nobody kind of shithousing their way to a long run by just absorbing and going. Now, teams did do that effectively in a game or two, but by and large, I think we have moved into an era of the game where, look, we've been in this era for 20 years, but like it's really codified now. Possession matters. What you do with the ball matters. How you control the game with the ball matters. That's the type of soccer I like to watch. That's the type of soccer that we've gotten in this World Cup.
You were rewarded.
I was.
Feels good.
It was.
All right, Gass, you're up.
I'm going to go like super specific and then rattle off a bunch of things.
You do whatever you want.
So the moment...
We got a Weeby style list.
Exactly. The moment that comes to mind when you ask, like, what do you think back on, is the Lopes Cabral goal in Cape Verde, Argentina. And I was trying to remember the experience because I think that was the breaking point for a lot of brains of like, we don't know what's going on anymore.
Yeah.
And the reason was in that round of 32, Canada scored to open on a 92nd minute winner. The next game, Brazil came from behind to beat Japan. And then Germany lost to Paraguay. And that was the moment where it was like, what the fuck is going on now? What is this tournament? It was followed by the Netherlands-Morocco game, which may have been the best soccer game we watched in that round. Norway's come from behind win against Ivory Coast. France smoked Sweden. Then you had Mexico beat Ecuador, which was the best game Mexico played. And it was a weather delay on a World Cup game. We've never seen it.
Electric, that crowd.
And then England came from behind against DR Congo. Belgium came from behind against, like, these were the orders of the games. U.S. beats Bosnia in maybe the most straightforward game along with Spain and Austria. Then we had the Portugal-Croatia game with the header and the offside and everything. We went to Switzerland, Algeria, Australia, Egypt, insane PKs. And that day ended with Argentina, Cape Verde, and Colombia, Ghana. And I think Argentina, Cape Verde was the moment it broke everyone's brains of like, stop trying to predict stuff. Stop trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
This is the story of this World Cup is drama. And that, I think, was like the breaking point of like the group stage was wild, but that round of 32 was unhinged. And to have Messi and his group go behind against Cape Verde or get matched again and again, that was just the like, and then he runs into the crowd and he hugs his girlfriend or whoever she is. And it's like Drew Fisher's like, I don't really know how to handle this. I think that to me is the moment that the World Cup switched for a lot of people. And you had the single games at that point. And so it's like everyone on the planet was watching that one thing.
I love that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well said, fellas. All right, let's get into some tactics, shall we? So as France gets set to take on England in the third place match, which I'm sure they're just really looking forward to, we're going to look back to Tuesday and see exactly how Spain slowed down Les Bleus, and it's time for our first touch tactics board presented by Football Manager 26. Doyle, you are going to showcase exactly what they did to get the better of this French side that we all thought were probably the favorites to win this whole tournament.
I really thought that France was going to win that game, but they never found Olise in the spots where they needed to find him. Spain are who they are, man. They know exactly what they're doing every second they're out there, and it is going to be a tall task for Argentina in this final on Sunday.
All right, let's let Doyle cook. Take a look.
The story of Spain's 2-0 win over France was the 10 yards in front of their back four. Out of possession, Spain didn't sit in their usual 4-3-3. They compressed into something closer to a 4-1-4-1, Rodri dropping alone as the screen, with the midfield four tucking narrow to choke central passing lanes. France's whole plan ran through Olise, drifting off the front line to link play. Spain's answer, deny him the ball on the half turn. Rodri and the tucked-in midfield four cut the pass into feet before Olise could face goal, and by the second half, he'd been substituted anonymous. With the middle sealed, the only route to Mbappe was wide and slow, exactly what Spain wanted. No combination play in midfield meant no in-behind sprint, which meant the striker starved of service all night long. And here's the part that could have unlocked it. Cucurella was the one matchup Spain left slightly exposed, with Dembele isolated against him on the left. France never went there, though. No early diagonals, no switch to test him in space. They kept forcing it through the middle, which Spain had already locked down. And so Spain dominated the terms of the engagement. A Digne foul on Yamal in the box, Oyarzabal converts. Then Porro doubling it with a give and go off of Olmo. Control the center, control the game. That's how you beat the best attack in the tournament without breaking a sweat centrally. And never make them answer the one question they didn't want asked.
Great stuff, as always, from Matt Doyle. Okay, so obviously Spain were so effective against France and just kind of diffusing that ridiculous attack and service inside up top. What challenges will Argentina present to Spain? Like, is this a completely different beast for them?
So it's different in that France came out intimidated. France came out and looked like they had lost the game before the game even started. And I don't think that Argentina has that in their DNA. Will they hit those long diagonals to find Messi in those spots, either behind Cucurella or at least in isolation against him? That's not really their game, but they do have, Romero can hit that pass. If Enzo drops deep, he's very two-footed. He can hit that pass, skip a line, and find Messi in positions where Messi makes magic. And the thing about Argentina is they don't really have a hard and fast game model. They play the way the game is going. If they need to be a counterattacking team, they'll be a counterattacking team. If they're facing a 5-man, 6-man bunker like yesterday, they will just play on the front foot and structure everything so that they win the second ball and go again. They're really agnostic about all of it. Against Spain, Spain is so good at taking away every option. So you have to be brave in spots where France wasn't brave. Mm-hmm. And I think that is going to be the big thing. Like, can Lisandro Martinez break lines with his passing? Can McAllister actually carry the ball forward and make that midfield collapse and chase a little bit? Pop Rodri out of that hole in front of the center backs and get him to run around a little bit. If Argentina does that, they very obviously have the players who could put the ball in the back of the net. It's just a massive if, because Spain have been airtight all tournament long.
Yeah, it's hard to see. It's hard to see this France team go out and play the way they did against Spain and think anyone else can come out and make Spain uncomfortable. But if Argentina gets on the ball for a little bit early on, it will be the first time Spain's been against it the whole tournament. And that's, to me, the one curveball that you can throw. And even if it's east-west stuff, be the one on the ball in the attacking half and have, if you start Rodrigo de Paul in place of Simeone, which I think is probably going to be the case, maybe you start him instead of Paredes, and then maybe you still have a true winger out there. But I think what Simeone brought in the last game is not what you're looking for in this game. I think you want quality on the ball, because I think the only way to beat Spain is to go and score goals and make them scared. The only way to slow Cucurella for this team is to make him defend.
Right.
So at some point, you're going to have to be on that front foot. And even if it's not danger, because DePaul's not this attacking creative piece, you still need to find ways. Yeah, it wasn't me. Amazing,
yeah, right?
You still need to find ways to be in possession a little bit and make this team chase you and make this team worry about that. I don't know that Scoloni has that idea in him, and I don't know that they're capable of it, because there's a really good chance what I just said leads to a Lamine Yamal counterattacking goal and the game's over.
Yep.
Doesn't matter, because at the death they're going to find a way. That's what they do.
I was texting with my dad today, and
idea.
we said the only thing you can say at this point: Messi's as close to Jalen Brunson as there is in the game of soccer.
There you go.
Can you believe the Knicks won in 5?
Oh, jeez.
The game was 46 minutes, though. Listen, Thomas Tuchel could go work for the San Antonio Spurs, and they could say if the game was only 2 minutes
loving
shorter.
It out there.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you guys.
New Yorkers unite, baby.
All right, guys, that was the First Touch Tactics board presented by Football Manager 26. Football Manager 26 International Mode is now available. Download it on our stream on your favorite console, PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo Switch. All right, guys, let's look ahead to this third place match that's coming up on Saturday between France and England. This is presented by Soccer.com. Reminder, guys, today is your last chance to save during Goal Club Days at Soccer.com. Save an extra 20% off site-wide with the code GCDays, up to $300 off with some exclusions applying. Spend $199 to get a free Trianda keyring, or $299 to score a free Trianda Mini Plus ball. Plus, use the code HATTRICK to earn 3 times the Gold Club points on all cleat purchases. Head to Soccer.com today before these Gold Club Days offers are gone. All right. We love a third place match.
I like that we have our graphic, and Derek then had to zoom in on the little one below the championship game.
It's so sad.
It's so funny.
It's just so, it's like, oh.
I forget it exists.
Clearly I do. Yeah, I do too. But, this is, they have to play in this. Does it benefit one team or another to win this? I mean, you are technically the third best team in the world if you win this match. It's not for nothing.
I think historically, a South Korea in 2002, a Morocco, a Croatia, a Uruguay, where what they were accomplishing, well, Uruguay, I guess, would say no, but in the modern era, what they were accomplishing was going to be historic. And to say third place instead of semifinal or fourth place kind of mattered to them.
Yeah.
I don't think England or France. I mean, is Tuchel coaching this game? I guess he has to. Deschamps we already know Deschamps out the door, and that's not a knock on him, but he's not building towards anything coming out of this game. These are not two teams where you feel like coming off the semifinal, they're going to be excited.
There's enough history between these teams culturally, if not necessarily on the field.
Between France and England?
Yeah.
What could you describe some of that?
I don't know. I think something about the Falklands.
Okay.
No,
They call it the Malvinas.
Right. There's enough history where you hope that there will be some extra juice in this one. 4 years ago, it was actually really good and entertaining game between Croatia and Morocco. In 2018, England didn't even show up in 2018. And Belgium just killed them. I think it was 3-0. So I don't know. I'm just hoping for 90 more minutes or maybe 120 of good soccer.
I would think for both teams, maybe, and I'm just saying this because these are professional athletes. They never want to lose. No one wants to lose. You take the field. You are going to play to win.
Yeah.
You also don't want to leave this World Cup with the taste in your mouth that was left by your last performance, which for both of these teams it was not good. So you hope that kicks in, pride.
Yeah.
Pride. That's me every day,
So
every day.
I think you're right in the players on the field are going to be engaged.
Of course.
I think it comes to who you choose to be on the field and the level of game planning for the opponent you do versus the other games. The biggest storyline of this game is going to be the Golden Boot race. Because these goals count. For the final tally.
I didn't know.
Didn't even think about
Didn't think about it, but it is still technically part of this tournament, so
Yep.
why wouldn't it?
And historically, the greatest goal scorer in one single World Cup is Just Fontaine. And I did not know that he scored 4 goals in the third place game in a 6-3 victory over West Germany in 1958. He scored 13 goals in one World Cup. That's always been the line. Everyone knows that. That was the mark. Miroslav Klose and Ronaldo for career finally passed that, and now Messi and Mbappe have lapped everyone and are going to continue. But there's a number of players in this game who could win the 2026 Golden Boot. There's a number of players in this game where the historical context of how many career World Cup goals they score, the assumption now is Mbappe will finish his career as the all-time greatest World Cup scorer because he's one-on-one with Messi, and he's 14 years younger than Messi. But we've been proven wrong on that. But I think Harry Kane can be in that conversation as well. And Dembele is not off the Golden Boot race here. So the fact that they all could play in this game, whether they should, I don't know. But that is going to be the most intriguing
I think it's
piece.
Mbappe on 8, Kane and Bellingham on 6.
We have the
Messi and
Look at
Mbappe.
us.
Yeah, Messi and Mbappe both on 8. Holland had 7. But Jude and
Dembele's
Harry
on 5 and
right there.
Kane's on 6.
Yeah.
It's not outside of the realm of possibility that Dembele scores that. If he plays
Also,
90 minutes, he could
Messi
score a
has
hat
4
trick.
assists, so if it remains tied with him and Mbappe, he would win because he's got the assists. And goal
It should be based off
contributions.
defensive metrics, underlying defensive numbers for the final Golden Boot winner. So, do we think Mbappe plays 90?
No.
Do we think Mbappe plays 75?
No.
Do you think he plays
I think he plays.
because he wants to win the Golden Boot?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
He might start. I could see him starting.
How pissed is Real Madrid going to be if he starts this game?
They're going to be furious.
If
that
him and
is the
Jude
other
start this game?
Yeah.
That's another reason why Doyle likes it. He's like, piss him off.
I don't think Declan Rice will start this game.
Yeah. Marcus Thuram has not played in this World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
He is an elite level player. We saw Mateta come in for a little bit. I wouldn't be shocked if Barcola and Doué start because I think that's the part where it's okay, what's the future? Kone should probably start this game. Obviously, news coming out, Saliba's out for about 5 months now.
Brutal.
They don't really have young pieces at center back, so that's not really one where you're right, this is a chance to give someone their first cap.
Konate didn't, I don't know if he.
I think he played in the third group stage game that they rotated.
I can't
yeah.
remember.
So that's, and then on the other side for England, they haven't really rotated the group. You mentioned Declan Rice, so it probably means Rodgers starts centrally. And then it's, I think, can you get some young players their first World Cup start? Can you get some players some experience? Harry Kane was asked about his future, and he didn't want to talk about it yesterday, but it's not unreasonable to think it could be the last World Cup game he's a part of. And he is,
No
in my
way.
mind, for
No way.
performance, I think he's the greatest England player of all time.
Yeah, I don't. I would be shocked if this was his last game.
For the World Cup.
For the World Cup.
So he would get to the Euros. Let's see. He is 32.
32, yeah.
Yeah, no. I
He
think
will actually turn 33 in 12 days. That's how ages work.
Well done.
So
he's 32 until he turns 33.
yeah. So he's an old 32.
Right.
So he'll be 35, 36 at the next World Cup. Yeah. I mean, at some point, if a new manager comes in, they're going to want to change something.
sure.
It shouldn't be him, but in
But
reality,
it's not like they have an
culturally,
abundance of riches at center forward.
no, it's not. No, you're right.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that body holds up. I'm rooting for you, Harry. All right. So in that vein, should we let's check in on our golden boot picks?
Fun.
Oh God.
Fun, Suze.
No,
We're
not
having fun.
Not fun. I had a moment and then it just went downhill very sharply. So
You peaked when the World Cup peaked, which was the group stage.
I did, and you know what? I feel good about that because I had that day where everything just was going my way,
Right.
and I rode that high for a very long time. But yeah, it's wait, Gass, are you in the lead?
I am in the lead.
Okay,
That's actually a good question to ask.
Can you give us
Yes. So Tom.
the totals?
So Tom is in last place in the World Cup.
Tough.
At
Golden
least
Boot
I'm not in
draft.
last.
You are not in last. This is one goal inaccurate. So Julian Alvarez scored in the last round.
He did.
So Tom's team has 12 total.
Darwin Nunez pick is something else.
It
man.
was it was a Liverpool fan in his pure,
He was
pure
yeah.
glory.
Darwin was also on my.
He
list.
also, I told him before the show that Julian Alvarez was coming
not
in
a
injured
starter.
and would not start. So he picked him. He went Isak, which is another Liverpool pick.
Yep.
For a Sweden team that was clearly going to be bad, and it's kind of a miracle that they beat Tunisia 5-1. That probably saved Tom a little bit more embarrassment. He picked a player in Cristiano Ronaldo who's 1,000 years old and had never scored in a World Cup knockout round. And then he luckily picked Holland,
Yeah.
which saved him. And I think
Yes.
overall, we picked all the main Golden Boot leaders.
Yeah, we did.
So as a show, we did okay. So Tom's on 12. You're on 13.
Lucky 13.
And you have
baby.
a chance to move
I
even
do.
further away because you
I
have
do.
Harry Kane, who will play in this third place game. Luis Diaz, I think all of us wanted to pick. You beat us to it. And womp womp.
Womp, indeed.
And then you had that group stage moment where Johnny David scored 2, I think it was, or was
No,
that
He had a
right?
hattie.
hat trick
Against
He had a hattie.
Qatar.
Yeah.
And of
Sonny
course,
really
Undav was pouring
let me
it in.
down.
He did.
Woof.
LAFC fans can agree, you can commiserate with them
I will.
over some of it. But Undav, I think, was the pick of the tournament.
Yeah, that
Undav
was
was
good. I
the
felt good
only
about that.
under the radar pick any of us made that ended up scoring a bunch of goals. And
Thanks for that.
Julian
I feel
Nagelsmann
good about it.
probably could have taken a little more advice from you early on. Maybe it would have helped him. So that's 13. Doyle's in third place now, and me and Doyle are 1 goal apart. So Doyle has 1 more than that because Arothabal has 5 now. And Mbappe has 8, and both of them, of course, are still playing. So for you, you'd like to see Mbappe pull a Just Fontaine.
I would. That would actually
Ooh.
that would mean a lot to me. And I'm just still kicking myself for picking Pulisic over Flo Balogun. But
Yeah.
you know, for everybody should remember, I was trolling with those last
Yeah.
3 picks. I took Quinones because I know David wanted to take him. I took Salah because I was sitting next to 2 Liverpool fans.
That's
And then I had to troll myself, and there was no bigger troll than
Does it
Me
embarrass
having
you
to
that
root
the
for
best
Christian
pick you
Pulisic.
made was purely based off my knowledge?
no. The best pick I made was the Arthibal. Right?
Julio Quinones had 4. Arathabal's going to go to the final
wait.
and only score 5. He's a starting center forward for the second best team on the planet.
So first of all, I recognize you as a very knowledgeable and astute observer of soccer, so that wouldn't bother me at all. But also, do you think you're the only person who watches Mexican soccer? You're the only person who knew about Julian Quinones?
You credited me for the pick. You put yourself in that. You put yourself in that trap. And I finished on 19 as the most knowledgeable
pretty good.
person about the game.
Well, you're
Yeah.
at 19. You haven't
Finished. Yeah,
finished
fair,
yet.
fair. I picked Lionel Messi. I think he'd play for England. I think he's pretty good at soccer. Vinny Jr., who I overcompensated for. Dembele, which I think was mainly you got Mbappe, and I needed someone on France because I assumed they'd score a bunch of goals. And Jeremy Doku was my big miss.
Yeah.
So me and Rudy Garcia are going to go have I don't know what they drink where Rudy Garcia's from, probably some form of wine, and talk about how we can help Jeremy Doku get to the next level. And then Ueda, 2 goals. That's a big shout out to Kat, who helped me out with that pick. Pretty satisfied overall. doesn't feel great that there's a 0 on my list. I would rather have it.
Did
you know
we?
what?
Did
I'd
did
rather
all of your
everyone
guys
have
score?
scored.
No. Who
none
did?
of
Pulisic.
us
Pulisic
had
didn't
none of
score.
us had all
Yeah.
5 of our
Okay.
guys score.
Yeah.
Tom would have been the closest if he hadn't just picked Darwin Nunez. Picking a player who hadn't played soccer in 6 months from a national team that is known for
It was an emotional
playing
pick.
defensive games, coming in under Bielsa, was a wild decision to make. So Tom deserves last place.
Wow.
What does the winner get?
I mean, we
we
never
take the
established
trophy
it.
home?
The
Oh,
trophy.
Yeah.
I want to take the trophy home.
No, we should get one of those like Bootsteins, you know, that
Like
they.
from a beer hall?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be fun.
Okay. Well, we'll have a post-game show after the World Cup final.
We are.
So we will know who has won at that point.
Yeah, we got a lot coming up. Tomorrow, we're going to be back here at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, and we are going to be joined by Musa Akwanga
Yeah.
from the Stadio podcast. He's brill. We love Musa. Always has such incredible and interesting insight into this tournament. So I'm really looking forward to chatting with him. He will not be in studio, but he's calling.
We're going to send the Gianni Infantino Qatar Airways private jet. I didn't know that's how he got around.
Is that in our
Qatar
budget?
Airways donated
I need to
the
have
private
some
jet.
words.
Yes.
But guys, thank you so much. Enjoy your free day of no soccer. Go outside and do something fun. Breathe in
Go
the
watch
smoke-filled
the smog,
air
yeah.
if you're in New York City.
Go watch CF Montreal play Toronto FC. In the
Oh yeah, we got
Canadian
MLS
Classic
games.
Canadian Classic?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Big thanks to Derek for all his work behind the scenes. And again, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone.